Hey Motorheads, it's your boy MP coming to you live and direct from the Hell Mega headquarters out here in beautiful San Francisco, California. And the car on tonight's menu is the BMW X5. This was a request video, so I'm going to try to be as organized as I possibly can to help you make the best buying decision when you're looking at the X5. And I thought the best thing that we can do is really start from the beginning and finish with the end. So taking the X5 into consideration for a used car would basically give you the options of '08 and older. So 1999 through 2006, minimal, if any, real changes with the car. Obviously, there are some engine adjustments, horsepower tuning, things like that. One thing that I really caught on with BMW, especially the X5, I've known a couple people that own this car, and I've actually had the experience to drive a lot of variations of the car because of trade-ins, is that they really made many attempts to try to get the horsepower and engine and overall driving experience right with the car. And I think they definitely, and still to this day actually, even in the 2009 version, I think they definitely misfired with the V6. Completely underpowered for a car that's so heavy and so big. So if you're going to look at a used one, I'm not going to spend too much time talking about the 99 through 2006 because I really think that that's not a car that should be on your menu. What should be on your menu is something between '07 and newer because that's when all the real serious adjustments have been made. '07 was a big step for BMW, I think, especially with that being the second generation car, you know, a whole 8 years later. I think that that's really where you need to start to be in a healthy position and be happy. Just because the old ones, just, I don't want to focus and waste too much time on the old ones. They're just so dated. The styling is very dated, especially in comparison to the new ones. And the inside, even from the get-go, back in '99, was working off the old interior finish of the old 7 Series. So the car is old, man. It needed a refresher, and I think they did a great job in '07. One thing that I really can note about the X5, and it's something that's disappointing to me that BMW doesn't do this along their whole entire line of cars, but they do use laser welding technology in that car. I do know that. So it's built in its absolute strongest form. You don't have to worry about safety in this car. Obviously, it's a tank. It's extremely heavy. So you have obviously the laser welding technology, the body weight around you, so safety in that car is a big plus. And you know, if you don't know what laser welding technology is, basically, there's two types of way to basically fabricate a car. Two main ways: staple welding and laser welding technology. And basically what they do is they take a bunch of pieces of metal, right? And they take it like this, so you can see, I should have colored these. And they weld it together, right? So what happens is when you get in an accident, okay, it builds like this line of resistance, okay, versus staple welding, if you get in an accident, it just splits. So it's definitely a stronger, more expensive way to build the car, so you get some great safety features there with the X5. In '07, they made the proper, I think they finally got it right with the engine adjustment. Even in the V8, the old V8s were a little bit sluggish, a little underpowered. They finally boosted that thing up to about 350 horsepower. And what I really want to note really isn't necessarily the engine adjustments that they made in '07, but the overall length, the growth of the car. Now, this is a car that has always been a big plus for comfort with me. When I drove the car, I always felt like it was very smooth, had that very BMW-like drive. Obviously not the rough suspension that you'd expect out of like a 3 Series, an M3, 5 Series, what have you. But the cabin is nice and wide in '07. It grew. I think the car is sitting at almost 80 inches in width. I think it's like 79, 78 inches. I'd have to double check. But it's pretty wide. So you have a lot of room there, a lot of comfort for you and your passengers. And the car definitely, this is the big thing, and I think the reason why they did this is because the Audi Q7 came out, which was a 7-passenger car. The Mercedes ML and obviously GL class were expanding and making bigger cars. So they finally grew the car. The car got longer, and it basically gave you an option for a third row seat, which they weren't offering before in the previous years. So these were big time moves that they made in '07. They lost the dated look on the interior, and they moved up into obviously that messy iDrive. I'm not going to really give too much love for the iDrive. There are some people that praise it. There are some people that like it. I hate it, and I think it was a horrible move for BMW. I think it was horrible to put that in their 7 Series. I've known several people that have current body styles in the 7 Series, and they've had nothing but complications with it. Some people will praise it, some people love it. I probably will take heat for that comment, but I definitely think that they could have done a more, obviously like intuitive way to figure things out. It's just way too messy to have to deal with that with your climate control, your stereo, everything to come through that one little knob. It's just too complicated, I think. The functionality isn't very good. But, if you're absolutely hot on the X5, and the X5 is the car of your dreams, and it's the car you want, that is definitely obviously a very personal matter that you have to find within. But if you're looking for some guidance for the X5, I think that you could probably get a very, very nice certified pre-owned. Obviously, the biggest year in depreciation is the first year. It's about 50% in 3 years generally with used cars, especially right now. The used car market is very soft. So you might be able to get a big bang for your buck, and BMW is very, very fond of having aggressive certified pre-owned rates. I'd have to double check what the rates are, but I know that right now on 09s, I actually went by BMW today. I did a little bit of homework. On 2009s right now, they have 2.9% financing on BMW X5s. So they have all these incentives. BMW has huge price margins, so you probably can go in there and negotiate pretty hard to really get you into an X5 today. They're obviously trying to clear space off their lot for their 2010s. I want to touch on the design though before I go away. So ultimately though, to answer your question whether you should go pre-owned or if you should go new, that's really going to depend on your finances. I would ultimately say that going with a used X5 would not be a bad look if the miles right, just because BMW is notorious with the X5 not to make big adjustments, not to make big changes. So you saw from 99 to 2006, nothing really happened with the car. 2007 to 2009, again, nothing has really happened to the car. So I think that you can get into an 07, 08 and have the same current body style, current motor, current features, current this, current that for at least a good 3 more years. So I think that that's definitely a healthier way to go. Take that big hit in depreciation on the first year. Get yourself a bargain buy. I would strive to get an 08 just because I do know in 08 they made the panoramic roof, the full glass roof standard, and that's a great design feature for multiple reasons. My main thing about the car is it brings a lot of light into the car, especially a car that already has a big cabin. It makes it just feel that much bigger. And obviously it's just an overall cool thing to have. So 08 would be the used optimal choice for me. You might be able to find like a dealer that has a demo one with maybe 5, 6, 7, 8, 10,000 miles on it that's been sitting around. Maybe not, but I'm sure that there's been some 08s out there that are on the market. Some things I don't like though about the second generation, and some bad habits I should say that they carried over from the old body style. The hood to me still is pretty horrible. The grille is also pretty bad. I don't really like how the hood almost looks like they took ice cream scoopers and scooped out these like divots out of the hood. It doesn't look very rich to me. It doesn't really look like it complements the car. The back end though, they did a fantastic job trying to not reshape, but give it brand new taillights, give it a little bit softer, richer look in the back instead of that old dated look that they carried for way too many years. So if you can afford an 09, great. If you're looking for a bargain buy, 08 would 100% be the way to go. Ultimately though, this is definitely a car that you can look to enjoy for comfort. It's going to have a nice long wheelbase, like I said. That wheelbase actually grew 4.5 inches between 06 and 07 to the current body style now. So they really made an effort to make this a cruiser, a very comfortable car. So I think that you don't get it for performance, you don't get it for sport, you get it for comfort, and you enjoy it, and at the end of the day, you keep on motoring.